So I had this big, we had a 3-day weekend this past weekend, and I had this, 20-point list of things I wanted to get done around the house. I got about a third of them done, but 2 of them were, maybe 3 of them were, critical to my, my happiness in my home. I did some cable management on my entertainment center, which you guys can see in the background. There's fewer cables hanging down. There's one I couldn't get rid of, which is, dealing me extreme psychic damage still.
Yeah, there's a power brick of some sort.
Yeah.
I like how these cold opens have just become basically windows and audits into your...
Yeah, but I've lived here for a year and a half now, and I finally hung some art on the walls, which I had not done previously. And from buying my speakers, I still had a bunch of cardboard sitting around, and I broke that down and recycled it. And it was taking off the depression training weights. I feel so good now. Now that my home is not a pigsty of cardboard.
Now that you have some art.
And yeah, it looks like somebody lives here and isn't miserable.
Man, hopefully by the time we start recording actual video, I'll be in the actual office room.
Oh yeah.
The bedroom.
Yeah.
But
I see a guitar in the background as well.
Yep,
I don't
2
think
of them
I saw that
actually.
last time.
Yeah. Yeah, I redecorated as well. That was one of my many things that I did. These shelves up top as well. This is great audio content, by the way. But I reorganized them as well to look better, both for this once we start sharing video and for my sanity. And I'm really happy with it.
It's also so that everyone who listens can make a mental map of your apartment.
Yeah, before they put together a physical map, because they're going to be able to see literally the entire thing once we once we start sharing video.
So you guys had Monday off. It was
I
a
did.
floating holiday for me, so I
had
worked
Monday
that
off.
day.
It was delightful. I thought about saving it for the Monster Hunter Wilds launch, but I didn't do that. I needed a 3-day weekend. It had been, I was
that's
tired.
fair.
I'll probably just work
Monster Hunter Wilds though. That's this next week.
next Friday.
Next Friday. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exciting.
Big day for me.
And welcome back to Game Talk. I'm your host, Sam Beyond. Today I'm joined by Connor.
Hey guys.
And Mike.
Hello.
And we had a Sony PlayStation State of Play about a week ago. I thought it was pretty good. I went online afterwards to see people really not liking it, but I thought they showed some interesting things. So I thought we'd just go through it today.
I thought it was one of their best, honestly, but I hold some biases.
I think expectations have just kind of... I think it's a couple of things, right? So I think expectations are just kind of out of control. And 2, I do think that just the Sony's output during the PS5 generation, as we discussed a couple episodes back, is much less than it could be because of their failed live service push. So it's to be expected to see less first-party showings at these things. But I think what we did see is something that I've been anticipating for quite a while, so I think we can get into it, and maybe we can also touch on the broader reception to it. But to kick it off, they started with Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yeah, excellent trailer.
New trailer.
Super good trailer. They also announced their first, they call them title updates for Monster Hunter. And I'm actually not super hyped about this. They announced a monster called Mizutsune, which is one we've seen. Mizutsune was introduced in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, skipped World and Iceborne, but then was in Rise and Sunbreak. And it's just not really a favorite of mine. It's like a big soapy dragon.
Soapy? What does that mean?
Like it's soap. It
uses soap as a weapon?
Yeah, it secretes soap and makes you slippery like that lady in One Piece.
A gamer's worst nightmare.
Yeah, true.
So
it makes you slippy and blow. It has bubble attacks all over the place. See, I just can't even sell it. I'm not a big Mizutsune fan. It's not boring, but it's just title updates tend to be super hype, and this one didn't really do it for me.
But other than that, I mean, I thought what they showed looked exciting. I mean, I think, I don't know, Monster Hunter has had so many trailers, but I feel like at this point, if you're in on this game, you're in on it. There's nothing really new they could do to further sell it, I think.
This was a good trailer, though.
But
Proof of a hero
they've
played.
really, like, the marketing for Monster Hunter has been on point. They've really kind of supported it fully in this, like, pre-launch period.
It's funny because, like, I'm seeing this trailer from the perspective of somebody who knows Monster Hunter, and so, like, the things that pop out to me are the things that I don't know what they are. Like, this is the first trailer to show... No, I think there was one before, but this trailer showed a Rathalos, which we hadn't seen much of, which is, typically you see Rathalos in a Monster Hunter trailer, but it was sick. It had some kind of, like, purple illness thing going on, it looked like, or at least something was weird about it. It had, like, a purple energy. Usually that ends up being an illness, and then the story will be, oh, you need to go hunt this monster because it's exhibiting weird behavior, and that's how they explain that even though you're an ecologically friendly organization, you are hunting a ton of these monsters.
Okay, yeah.
So you'll have to be investigating the Rathalos to figure it out. I don't know. Looks hype to me. Proof of a Hero played. Love that song. Total banger.
Yeah, I did pre-order it after this latest trailer, so I'm fully locked in.
I haven't pre-ordered it. Yeah. I keep forgetting. I need to.
You do get some goodies for doing it. I forget what it was, but...
Yeah, and I might as well get the goodies, because there's, like, no universe where I don't play this game day one.
Yeah, and, like, for most games, there's a risk of it being broken at launch, but they've already put out several betas. You already kind of know what you're getting, so...
Yeah, you know to what extent it could be broken, and I am comfortable with that.
Right. All right, moving on. The next thing they showed looked pretty interesting to me. It was a game called Shinobi Art of Vengeance. It had this really beautiful 2D art style, and it just seemed like a lot of fun.
Oh, is it based?
It was a Sega game.
I recognize that name.
Yeah, it's a revival of the Shinobi games. Yeah.
Ooh, I kind of liked those back in the day. It
kind
of
looks good.
Sick. Yeah, that's it's almost like a comic book art style.
Sega was actually firing on all cylinders in this. There was a lot of good third-party stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Sega showed up strong here. But yeah, this game, I mean, it looked sick. We saw gameplay, and it looks frenetic, fast-paced. And yeah, I mean, this is right up my alley.
That art style looks straight out of, like, old Japanese paintings, like woodcuts.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. That's beautiful looking.
And it's a good implementation of it. Monster Hunter Rise tried to do that, and I hated it.
The animation also, like, you don't really talk about animation when considering 2D games, except for, like, Cuphead, but the animation in this is really impressive to me. Like, it's very fluid, more fluid than I've
when you make
normal 2D games I play.
Yeah, when you make a 2D game in today's art space, animations are probably one of the most crucial things to stand out, especially in a world where 2D games are very accessible to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
looks...
That's why Cuphead stood out. That's why this looks like it's going to stand out.
Yeah, it's just so fluid.
Like,
so much is happening
saturated
in every
2D
frame.
Platformers in a way that we haven't been.
This one's definitely standing out. So I'm definitely going to pick this one up. Yeah, looks cool. So the next thing we saw was Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, and I thought this looked like a lot of fun too.
I think it looks incredible.
The last Sonic Racing, I've skipped a couple entries in this series.
I've never bought one.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're a lot of fun. Obviously, Mario Kart is a huge inspiration, let's say, for this style of game, but I think they kind of stand on their own. They're unique enough. And they had, like, this interesting kind of portal thing going on in the trailer where you can switch between levels. I don't know if you guys remember seeing that, but that stood out to me as, like, this is the, I guess, gimmick for this Sonic Racing game. And I believe they did confirm that, like, non-Sonic, like, other Sega characters are going to be showing up in this game, which is always cool to see.
Yeah, they the gimmick is, like, at the end of a lap, they throw a ring ahead or something. It looks like something out of the Sonic movies, honestly. And it takes you to another stage for one lap, is what it seemed to be. And I really like that. Because, like, you look at, like, Mario Kart 8 or something, and it has 90 good maps. Why should I only see one at a time? Maybe I want to check out some flavor from another map for a little bit.
Yeah, you got... Mario Kart's one of those games where it feels like you just want to play, like, the same 7 maps out of 80.
Oh, not me. No, I play all of them.
I also play all of them.
I sit down.
I'm a huge fan of switching.
Before the DLC was out, I would routinely sit down with my roommate in college, and we would actually play every single Mario Kart track in order, and just like
In order.
Yeah, we would just do them in
that's
order.
crazy.
Just go through them because we knew we were going to do them. It was 48 races, and yeah, we would just crack some brewskis, play through the entire game. And he would beat me into the dirt, by the way. That dude was so good at Mario Kart.
Last time I played Mario Kart was actually Mario Kart
Based.
for Extra Life.
Oh, yeah.
That was so fun. It turned into a game of who's better at drinking than who's good at Mario Kart. It didn't matter how good you were at Mario Kart. If you couldn't chug a beer, you could not win.
And this does show the problem that Sonic Racing will always face, which is that it is going to be compared to Mario Kart, which has perfected the formula.
Yeah, it's almost a little unfortunate for this game because they announced like they're gonna show more information or something in a couple months. I'm like, guys, you are lining this thing up to come out with the Switch 2, which probably is going to launch with a Mario Kart game. So best of luck to you. I mean, I think it's gonna be great, but like, you know, it's like launching alongside Breath of the Wild. It's just going to cannibalize you.
Yeah.
But yeah, looked great. So for me, from my perspective already, in this state of play, it's like 3 for 3 games that look interesting, at least. So
I would go further and say, like, this is one game I'm almost certainly going to buy, and then one that, like, I feel pretty confident I'll spend money on Sonic Racing.
But this next game, also a game that took me by surprise, and one that I'm interested in, Digimon Story Time Stranger. It looked like a cross between Digimon and Persona.
This is actually not the first...
Seemed very appealing.
This is not the first Digimon game that looked very Persona-like. There was one a few years ago that was also called Digimon Story, I think, but I don't know what the subtitle was. But my cousin was really into it, and the way he sold me on it was Digimon X Persona. I never picked it up because the problem was it seemed like a much smaller game.
Cyber Sleuth, that's the one, right? Is that the one?
Cyber Sleuth, yeah. And I hear it was excellent.
Yeah, me too. And it's good to see Digimon get love like this in a world where, like, growing up, it was heavily compared to Pokemon for obvious reasons. But game-wise, it's really kind of gone in a completely separate direction than Pokemon.
Yeah, it has meaningful combat that has strategy to it, and a decent end game sometimes.
But yeah, I remember when I was younger, I used to play this Digimon game with my cousin all the time, and I don't know if we were just really bad at it, or it was just impossibly hard, maybe a combination of both, but like, we could never get very far at all. I think it was on PS2. It was like Digimon World or something.
Digimon World 1 was a PS1 game.
It was one of the sequels.
Okay. I had Digimon World Dusk on my Nintendo DS, and I don't even think I was that bad at it, but I felt like I played 1 billion hours of that game, and the end was nowhere in sight. It was just so long.
Well, the Digimon World game that me and my cousin played, again, we could just be stupid, but like, we couldn't figure out how to save. So like, we just get into the game, and when we died or lost all our lives, we had to start over. And we just kept doing that over and over.
200-hour RPG.
Yeah, it was just like this. Even as a kid, I was like, this doesn't seem right. There's probably a way to save, but we never really looked into it.
That's a very
But yeah, this Time Stranger, Digimon Story Time Stranger, very interested in this, especially because I just love that Persona formula.
Yeah,
like, I don't care if you think it's worn out. Like, give me all of the Persona style games.
I don't think it's worn out. I mean, there's only 3 major Persona games that follow that formula, and then what's
Metaphor?
Yeah, Metaphor. Yeah, so 4 games. That's hardly beaten to death.
And then like I think Fire Emblem 3 Houses adopted some elements of Persona. It wasn't like, it didn't fully go all the way, but like, I did appreciate what it brought from Persona. So like, developers are starting to like bring that social management more into video games, and I just love it. I think keep doing it.
Yeah, I should really play that 3 Houses game now that the Smash Bros. Smoke has died out.
Yeah, right, like, because divorced from Smash Brothers, because like, obviously you want your favorite characters to get in, and there's 1 billion Fire Emblem characters. Fire Emblem is just a really good series.
Yeah,
it has so many hard hitters. So, Anyways, next game on the list. Okay, so this is the first one I was just like, okay, not sure about this one. It was called Lost Soul Aside. It looked cool. Like, certainly it looked cool. It looked kind of Devil May Cry-ish.
Yeah,
But I couldn't shake the feeling that it was just a bit, I don't know, generic. I don't know if that's the right word.
This one's not.
Oh my god!
I didn't
he
wish
looks like
list
a
it.
Final Fantasy protagonist.
Yeah, it looked like Final Fantasy
Oh my
16
God.
cross Devil May Cry. So it looks really cool and flashy. I guess what I'm saying is I'll believe the quality is there when it comes out and it gets good reviews.
Who put dark-haired Cloud Strife in Devil May Cry?
Yeah, that's basically what this is.
That sounds awesome, actually. That sounds like an excellent $40
I mean,
game.
if it's good, then I'm down.
Yeah.
Like a game like this,
if it's a good game, I'll play it.
Yeah, I mean, a game like this lives and dies by its combat. So like, even if what's happening on screen in this trailer, insanely flashy, crazy, giant boss fights, but if the gameplay sucks, then like, what's the point?
Right.
So, this one I'm going to be more interested in if people play it and say the gameplay is really, really good. That's where I stand on that. So next game, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, which God bless the Yakuza franchise.
These are games about crime.
Yeah.
But it's just like
about crime.
Every time you think they can't get goofier, they somehow get goofier.
It looks very
Pirate
silly.
Yakuza in Hawaii.
I'll play the free demo too.
Yeah. While also telling deep stories about crime and depression. You get this.
Have you played some of them, Mike?
I've played Yakuza 0.
Yeah, he's talked about it on the show.
Yeah, I've talked about Yakuza 0. I've been trying to play
I've never made it far into any of them.
It is a serious story about like crime and everything, but over the top of it,
but
you're
at the same time,
like,
there's like people stuffed into garbage bags that you have to fight as like an RPG enemy.
Yeah, I mean, the earlier Yakuza games were just a brawler.
Yeah,
right.
They introduced it with the Like a Dragon, where they changed it to this turn-based combat.
Yeah, and I don't know about all that.
But at the same time, you're going to a disco house and dancing as an actual mini game, and there's a whole side quest associated with this.
Yeah, that sounds very Yakuza.
It's a very goofy game that is also tries to take itself seriously as you can when you're a pirate, you know?
Yeah, with Yakuza, like, I really want to get into this franchise. It's just way too intimidating. You've got like 10, 100+ hour games, and at some point I just need to bite the bullet and be like, okay, I'm just gonna jump into Like a Dragon.
I've tried a few times because they were on Game Pass.
Oh yeah,
bounced off.
Yeah. Zero's a blast. Honestly, you don't have to do the side content if you really don't want to.
But that's like the whole point of these insane non sequiturs that lead you to like a dozen hours doing a fishing management mini game.
Yeah, apparently there's like a pervert Pokemon in the one in Hawaii. What was it?
That's insane.
Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth.
Infinite Wealth, yeah.
Where you collect like model cards.
Maybe no, it was like a Pokemon game where you collected perverts and had them fight each other. Like,
hold on, yo.
I don't know. This is all like secondhand. This is what people have told me about it. I haven't played it.
100% believe that that's in a Yakuza.
And there was like another like pervert Animal Crossing one.
Listen, when you've had a franchise that has been going on since when was the first Yakuza come out?
20 years ago.
20 years, you know. Yeah, 2005. So this is its 20th anniversary. When you've had a game series that's been going on for 20 years and it keeps getting goofier, they're on to something.
Yeah, I mean, like, it is this crazy balancing out act, like you said, with, like, really serious kind of dramatic storytelling and just the goofiest stuff you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it seems like only Yakuza can get that formula just right. So, one of these days I'm going to get into this franchise, but I'm always happy to see a Yakuza game,
and
a new Yakuza
the same
game
developers, too. That's the worst.
And they put these games out so quickly. I don't know what's in the water over there. Like, these are dozens of hours, 100+ hour games. Yeah, Crunch probably.
Yeah.
But they seem like they have one every year or two, which is wild.
I mean, Infinite Wealth was last year. That was a 2024 game.
Yeah, that was last year, I think. Yeah.
They might have multiple
crazy,
teams.
This is like a side game, to be fair. This is not a full featured Like a Dragon game. This is like
They'll release like a main game.
Yeah.
and then they'll release a side game. They might have 2 teams or 4 to 5 teams working on these games.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have more than one
Because they're
team.
working on
otherwise that'd be
another Like a
ridiculous.
Dragon game as well. Or
Are these
Project
Sega as
Century.
well? Like a Dragon?
Yeah, they're Sega.
Yep, Sega.
Okay.
Sega showed up strong.
All
They have, like,
systems, yeah.
Infinite.
Tinfoil hat, does that mean anything, being so present as at a Sony conference? I don't know.
No.
And the thing about the Yakuza series, I'm looking at their Metacritic scores. Since 5, they've never been below an 80.
Really?
And
That's
5
interesting.
came out in 2012. So they've consistently been putting out good games almost every other year.
Yeah. Good for them.
That's impressive.
All right, moving on. Next was a Dave the Diver update. The game that just keeps on
Are
giving.
people like? My question is, what I don't understand: are people actually going back to Dave the Diver to play all these?
I don't know. I mean, they must be, right? Like,
Because I haven't. I never finished Dave the Diver, and I have like
I did
zero
finish it. And I spent
desire.
a decent amount of time with it, but I can't really ever see myself going back. But like Dave the Diver does somehow have this appeal where like it doesn't seem to ever just go away.
Like, did it have an end game where you can just like grind something? I kind of felt like it was like a story, and once it was over, it was over.
Yeah, I mean, like the end game is you just keep catching fish, and like there were like stats to max out and stuff, but like that's
Sure.
about it.
Yeah. And now it's like one of the this is like a weird me thing, but once all these like free DLCs, I think these were all free. Once a game has a bunch of free post launch content, I don't like playing it as much because I want to know what the original game was. And sometimes that's like hard to tell what was original and what's not.
Yeah, and even when I played it, there was some of that already in there. There were like crossovers and whatnot.
Yeah, that just feels kind of weird.
Like, you
I
look
don't
at a
know.
game like Terraria, it's like, what was the original game that came out?
Yeah, exactly. Like the original Terraria is a great example because I did play every update as it came out to Terraria.
And they have the power now to go back to update 1.
Yeah. And that game's like 8 times as long as it was when I first played it, but I loved the original game. I loved it a lot. So
Like, the original
that's
game
a great
ended
example.
once you got to the underworld, right?
Yeah.
That was the end. The end all be all was when you got molten armor and
you would get molten armor, and then Skeletron was the final boss. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
then-
I mean, Monster Hunter has a similar problem where they do event updates and stuff, and they don't typically put any gating at the end game. So I got to the end of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and suddenly all of these monsters that were way too hard for me to beat were available to me because they released them assuming you had been playing since launch and had gotten strong enough to fight them since launch. And I don't know. It makes these games messy to me. It's not that more content is bad. I don't know what I'm saying. I have feelings about it, and I don't know how to fix it.
No, I mean I get it. Like I do understand wanting to play, especially in cases where it just seamlessly ties in with the main game and its crossover content. It feels like you're getting kind of weird side branches that distract you from the main.
I just want a label on it. Like if you're
Yeah.
gonna do it, there should be a label that should say like, "Hey, this wasn't in the original game. This is like a weird other thing we did,"
Yeah.
which a lot of games do.
All right, moving on. The next game shown was Splitgate 2. So Splitgate, that was the Halo-like
With portals,
shooter, right?
Yeah,
with
Yeah.
Halo with portals, basically. So
Yeah,
it's getting
I
a
liked it.
sequel.
I'm
Which is
very
cool.
intrigued. Is Splitgate 1 still around? Did it get shut down? I don't know I quit playing
you don't really hear about it, right? It's not in the conversation as like some of the more popular games, but I don't know. It could have a dedicated player base.
It weirdly, like, Halo Infinite came out and just ate its lunch, kinda. Like, I was, like, pretty into Splitgate until Halo Infinite came out, and then me and my buddy switched
And
to Halo
plus,
Infinite.
I mean, spoiler alert: Halo is going to be coming to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this game, like in a world where that
Did
didn't
they-
happen, you
did
get
they
a
announce
Halo-like
that
game
yet?
on PlayStation. It's
No, it
they didn't
wasn't yet.
announce that, but it's coming.
It's happening, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be the Master Chief Collection, right? Not Infinite.
Yeah, it's gonna be the Master Chief Collection first, but I
You
don't
know
know.
how
Like,
wild
I
that
bet
is?
everything, including Infinite, is coming.
Are you gonna buy that, by the way?
I don't think so.
Okay.
The Master Chief Collection, yes, because I just love those games.
That's what I meant, was, no,
That's
don't buy
so
Halo
wild
Infinite.
to
Jeez.
see
Yeah, yeah.
That game's
Master Chief.
trash, other than the free multiplayer.
Right, and that presumably we'd have that on PlayStation 2, right? The free multiplayer. So
I would assume
win-win.
so. I'm excited for
Alright.
Splitgate. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, the alpha starts in a week on PlayStation. I don't know if that's everywhere, but
It's February 27th. Not a good day to launch your
yeah,
free.
not a good day for Connor at least.
No. But hey, lots of people play Monster Hunter.
That's not what I you know what I meant.
Yeah.
Next game, I don't know if any of us have interest in WWE, so I don't know if there's anything to
I don't
say
even remember
here, but-
seeing this. I must have gone to the bathroom.
No, they started showing this, and I was just like, oh, so we're in the boring middle phase of
My eyes glazed
of
over.
the show.
Because I remember the next thing.
Yeah, the next thing, Borderlands 4. Every time they show this game, it looks interesting, which is not what I expected from Borderlands. I've been so burnt out on Borderlands for so long, but there's and this time when they showed it, it confirmed my theories. No humor at all. It can't be a coincidence at this point. Every time they show this game, it's kind of in a fast-paced, serious fashion.
I agree that Borderlands would be better without the humor. But what is it without the humor? Like, or at least Borderlands 3 would have been better without the humor.
So what is it without the humor? Like, it's still like a really fun PvE looter shooter kind of game. I
guess,
think
but
so.
that's a much busier market, I think. There are other games that sate that for me.
Well, Borderlands was kind of the OG that kicked that off. I mean,
I agree with that, yeah.
Destiny really took a lot of inspiration from Borderlands.
And
Destiny kind of brought it.
Form, I think, would be nice for Borderlands.
A return to form, and yes, I agree. Like the humor has to go. Like I strongly feel that. I
mean, I
know
love
that's
the
a
humor
core
in
part of Borderlands, but I just think it's a relic of the past at this point.
Claptrap's got to go for sure. That dude's annoying as hell. But I overall, I think the humor in Borderlands 2 I liked, at least at the time. Borderlands 3, it was just, and it didn't age great. You know, it's a relic now. It's difficult to go back to. Especially the Claptrap stuff. I find Claptrap insufferable, and he's everywhere. But I don't know. I just find it hard to be...
Claptrap kind of is the mascot, so I bet he's going to be in this game, but hopefully toned down like a lot.
I just find it hard to be excited for Borderlands 4, because like me, I got it for free, I think. Maybe it was just really cheap.
3, you mean?
Yeah,
You got
3,
3
sorry, 3,
cheap,
yes.
yeah.
I got 3, either free or very cheap, and I played through it with my buddy Tyler, and we literally muted it. And just like listen to music and talk to hung out.
Antagonists, like those streamers, were just too much.
You see, I don't even know because I muted it because I knew they were bad. But even then, like the gameplay didn't stand without that little extra spice on it. The writing, it was just a kind of bland grind.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's enough there for Borderlands to lean into. Like, if they shed the writing and lead more into the looter shooter thing, I think there is something there.
Maybe. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see. Hopefully, they are doing that approach because I do think that's a better approach.
Yeah, it'd be wild if this game came out and it was the same humor and they were just hiding it for some reason.
Yeah, because they know it's bad.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that's going to be the case. Like, the tone of all the trailers they've shown so far, it's markedly different, I think.
Yeah.
So, keeping an eye on that one. Next, a game that I'm very excited for. Split Fiction had a new trailer. I just think this game looks like a blast. It looks like It Takes Two on steroids, and I loved It Takes Two.
I've never seen a game that I'm so certain is really good, and like that I would really like, that at a glance appeals to me so little. I think everything about this game is so insanely bland. And I know that can't be the case because these are like these people.
I really think that's
so
a you thing, man. Like, I think this game is oozing creativity.
See, I feel like it's just like, the most generic fantasy you've ever seen paired next to the most generic sci-fi you've ever seen in your entire life.
Well, from a gameplay perspective, there's going to be a lot of creativity there.
Yeah,
this is
I
a
agree with that.
follow-up to It Takes Two. And It Takes Two, it took place in a house and in like a backyard mostly.
Mm-hmm.
And it used those environments really, really well.
Yeah.
The scope of this game is a lot bigger. You're going to seemingly there seem to be no
everywhere
restrictions
and nowhere
where you're going. Everywhere and nowhere. So I guess that gives them more of a canvas, but takes away some of that restriction and focus that they could put into the level design.
And that's the problem for me.
I really have faith in Joseph Fares and this team, because I think they hit a home run with It Takes Two, a really kind of novel concept in the 2020s, like a co-op only single player game, right? And we're getting that again with Split Fiction, and I'm excited to see what they learned and iterated on for this one.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out because I feel like I kind of missed the boat on It Takes Two.
I don't think you could still play it today and have a great time.
With
I
who?
think.
Though? Like everybody's already played it.
You need someone who hasn't played it.
Everyone I know that would want to play it has already played it. So,
and obviously you can do like online co-op, but the real magic with these games comes with you're sitting next to someone and you play this game.
Yeah,
that just takes it up another level because then you're like actually the characters in the game are bickering and you're bickering too because you're like, why aren't you doing this? You should be doing that. You know, like that kind of overcooked.
This guy's got friends that come to his house.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I played It Takes Two with my sister.
Still, this guy likes his sister.
This guy has siblings. Yeah,
that's not a dunk on my sister. She's fine.
But yeah, I'm excited for this game, and I think your reservations will maybe go away when it's out.
Yeah,
and people play it. But yeah, I think it's a neat idea, and Joseph Fares continues to be great.
Yeah, I don't want to dunk on it. The trailer, the world building has not drawn me in at all so far. And that's kind of a problem for me.
Yeah, like it's just so much broader because It Takes Two had that kind of setting, and I don't know if this one does. All right, next game. I was really into this. So Directive 8020, this is a game made by the same people who did Until Dawn and The Quarry.
Oh, I'm in.
So this is a basically horror movie in space.
Was this? It looked like Alien, kind of.
Yeah, it kind of looked like Alien.
Yeah, I'm super on board.
Where you have these protagonists and you make choices and they either live or die by the end. I love this formula. It's worked so well for Supermassive in the past. And for them to bring this kind of their style to a sci-fi setting, I think is just incredible because their previous two kind of hits, and they've had smaller games in the past, but like Until Dawn and The Quarry, they're very similar games, right? They're a bunch of teenagers / young adults that are in a kind of semi-rural setting overnight and things go crazy. There's horror and whatnot. Both of those games kind of follow that template, but this is a sci-fi alien-inspired horror game. And I'm just a sucker for these. I've been on a huge horror kick for the past couple of years or so. I'm talking like horror movies, horror games, all of it.
Gotta play Alan Wake.
Yeah, I know. I really do. And I just can't get enough. And the Supermassive games are just right up my alley, man. I love those. I loved Until Dawn. I love The Quarry. So
it's like weird to me this hasn't become a genre that we see a lot more of. Because I don't know if they're maybe not making that much money, but I like the idea a lot, even though I haven't bought in. I tend to watch like a streamer play them or something. I'll probably actually pick this one up because I'm on board.
Yeah, I think you're right. Because like, I don't want to diminish anything, but like the barrier to development for these kind of games isn't as high as some other kind of.
Well, it feels high from a
AAA
fidelity. Like they usually get actors.
Right, but like you're not implementing gameplay systems, right? You're basically, it's just dialogue trees and like quick time events and choices. So from that perspective, like obviously all games are very complicated to make, but like what I'm saying is there are plenty of teams out there with extensive resources that could make a game like this, but it really seems like Supermassive have kind of made this their own style of game.
Yeah.
Stoked for this one. So moving on, I don't know if we want to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. I have no idea what Five Nights at Freddy's even is and why I keep seeing it. Like,
I want to talk about this trailer for a second.
What's the deal with it?
I don't know much about Five Nights at Freddy's, but this is like maybe the worst video game trailer I've ever seen in my entire life. It just explained everything with like basic B-roll footage. It was like, this is exactly who the villain is, and this is its weaknesses and abilities. Aren't you so excited to do word for word what we just told you you're gonna do? Like, no, man. Why would I want to?
Five Nights at Freddy's is one of those series that should have ended like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
I don't mean to be a hater, but like,
I don't know why it's still going.
It's embarrassing. This is so low quality to me. Like the trailer. Again, I've never touched one of these games, and I never will.
I mean, does it have fans? Like,
yes.
I've never heard.
My God, yes.
Really? Okay.
Oh my
Oh my
god!
god!
Yes.
Have you? MatPat made a career on these games.
Did you not? It's a theory. It's a Five Nights at Freddy's game
Yeah,
theory. Here's 7
somehow
hours
missed
of
all of this.
lore.
Oh my god! Yeah, the
Yeah,
people are
I
so
somehow missed
deep
all of
into the
this.
lore. I actually
Really?
like.
Okay.
I actually had a huge fight with my freshman year in college roommate because I told him he could use my PC as long as he only installed things on Steam, and he installed a Five Nights at Freddy's game that wasn't available on Steam from some website, and I was like furious. I like screamed at him. I like locked down my computer and everything, and then he was like, "You hate me. We're not friends anymore." And I was like, "No, okay, sure." Like, I'm not gonna let you put the Five Nights at the Freddy Fazbear virus on my PC.
Yeah, man, I don't get it. I don't know why this is a thing. Why
People
it
love it.
keeps
Kids love it, especially.
I guess kids. Okay, that
Kids
might
are
explain it.
crazy about it. I had an ex's nephew just sat down and would talk to me for like an hour at a time about how many characters there were in Five Nights at Freddy's and how it took a really long
I only
time.
ever see the freaking teddy bear.
There's
Are
a
there
there's
characters?
apparently I have it on good authority that it takes a long time to make a Five Nights at Freddy's game because they have to make so many characters. That was
I
what
don't
he
know
told
about
me.
that one.
He
I
was
don't know about that one.
he was 4.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's Five Nights at Freddy's. If you're into that, we're not. Next, this looked interesting too. The Midnight Walk. It had this really interesting kind of claymation.
We've seen this, yeah.
Art style.
And it's in VR. It's a PSVR 2 game if you want it to be. It has,
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it looks really good. I hope it comes to PC and PC VR so someone can actually play it.
Right. Yeah, I think. I mean, horror in VR is just a match made in heaven.
Is it horror?
It looked like horror to me. It looked
like
pretty
lightly
scary.
spooky to me.
Yeah. It had kind of like
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton aesthetic. Yeah.
Because I wouldn't call like The Corpse Bride horror.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe more like a Tim Burton kind of thing is appropriate. But yeah, I thought it looked interesting. You don't really see a lot of games with this kind of art animation style. And VR as well, and that's just another kind of cherry on top.
Yeah, I was into it.
Very cool. Again, right, like just kind of zooming out a little bit. A lot of good stuff in this state of play.
Yeah. Very high average built by like no crazy high highs, but just like every single thing hit except Five Nights at Freddy's.
And I would much rather have that.
Yeah,
we've
same.
had like shows in the past that like it's completely trash, and then they show one game that everyone's going nuts for, and it's like, okay, that's awesome, but like, I would much rather have a higher average, but not as high highs, because that's just more stuff to look forward to. Okay, anyways, so what's next? Darwin's Paradox.
I don't remember
Do you guys remember this? I have no memory of this, so it must not have made such an impression.
Can you describe
it
to me?
Weird, so I had to actually look it up. It's like a weird, like, an octopus game. You play as
I
an
remember
octopus.
this. Okay, yeah. I thought this looked fine. It looked neat, but
yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. It seems
it looks
kind of
indie.
gimmicky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Seems fine. And it didn't really make an impression on me because I would have remembered it. So, I don't know if there's anything else we want to say about it here. Let's see. What's next? Warriors Abyss, a roguelike game.
Yeah. I'm the person this should have appealed to, and it kind of didn't. Like, it looked fine.
Yeah, another one where, like, I don't really remember this, so...
Yeah. No, I remember seeing the roguelike, and I remember,
like,
just not being enamored with it.
Okay. So maybe let's just move on if we have nothing to say about that one. So the next couple games were Onimusha games, right? So Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny is kind of a remaster, remake of Onimusha
And it's launching
2.
on PS4? It doesn't say PS5 on our list here?
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
That's suspicious. I don't know what the deal is with that. But sure, go off.
Yeah, so Onimusha 2 and then Onimusha Way of the Sword. So Onimusha Way of the Sword, like, when this trailer dropped, people were ecstatic that Onimusha was back. And Onimusha is really kind of the progenitor of a lot of those kind of samurai action games that I love so much, like Nioh.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
it's really cool to see this franchise back.
It is Sega, right? I feel like it is, but I'm not sure.
Capcom.
Oh, man, I should have known that. Okay.
Yeah, so Capcom, one of the best devs in the world right now, bringing Onimusha back in a post kind of Neo post Souls world. I'm
Yeah.
very curious to see what that looks like.
It is also interesting.
Very exciting.
I think the protagonist is. I'm not actually certain because this is like an article I read a few days ago on Polygon, but it is a long dead Japanese samurai film actor.
Wait, what?
And they are using his likeness to play the main character. It's all above board. It's not like a weird.
They got like permission and stuff from
from his
family
estate. But
yeah,
that always sits a little weird with me. You could have just made him a guy, but like. I don't know the culture in Japan. This guy's legacy might be like crazy, and this might be the hypest thing in the world. So I don't want to judge. It always sits a little funny with me.
But yeah, Onimusha was one of those franchises I never really played as a kid, but I obviously was very into Neo and the Neo-like games. So to see Onimusha making a comeback, I think I'm going to kind of get into it via the newer games / the remakes of the old games, just like I did with Resident Evil. Because like my first introduction with Resident Evil was through the remakes. I plan to do something similar with Onimusha here, and Capcom really knows how to make a remake. So
yeah, they do.
Excited for that. Okay, next game. Another game I am stoked for. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. So I've never played Metal...
New game's a strong word.
Yeah, new game's a strong word, but it is a remake, so it's not just a remaster. It's built from the ground up. And I've never played Metal Gear Solid 3, so I'm so stoked for this. This will be my first playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 3.
It's like one of the best, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's one of the best, and I never played it.
I have it on PS2. I've never gotten super far in it. It's a little... Could certainly use some modernization.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they already confirmed that this game is going to have the classic controls and modern controls as well, and seeing as I've never played with the classic controls, I'm probably going to just do the modern controls and not know any better and enjoy it. But
it came out in that weird spot where Japanese games like to use circle as accept on PlayStation, and I never got
that was a
past
thing
that.
for a while.
That killed me. It was like circle was accept, triangle was back, or something. I forget.
Yeah,
and
I remember that era.
Couldn't get past it because there's a lot of menuing in this game. A lot of menuing. So
because there's a huge I guess survival element to this game.
Right? You have to make your own camouflage and stuff, and you have to do it all the time. It's like it's a lot of menuing, or at least the way I played it. Maybe I was doing it wrong, but that's why I bounced off of it. It was a lot of menu time to make your camouflage and then crawl through the mud.
But it's been such a long time since Metal Gear Solid has had any kind of release. I know we had Metal Gear Survive, the crappy zombie game that Konami put out after Kojima left, and
did anybody?
That's
buy
not
that?
a real Metal. I don't know. That's not a real Metal Gear game in my eyes. So the last Metal Gear game to me is Metal Gear Solid 5, and The Phantom Pain. I was trying to remember this up.
Yeah,
and that game was kind of a huge departure for the Metal Gear franchise in and of itself. It was way more gameplay focused and less focused on the crazy story. But this is very much Metal Gear Solid 3, classic Metal Gear. I'm fully expecting 30-minute long cutscenes.
Yeah, 30 minutes is short.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm just stoked for this. I'm very excited for the boss fights. Metal Gear boss fights are always kind of a trip. I know this one has some of the franchise's most popular ones, like Sniper Wolf.
The one who you can kill by
this
changing
one
the
has
clock.
the end.
The end, right?
Everything, yeah.
The end. Yes.
This is the one with the ladder, right? Where you climb the ladder and it takes 40 minutes to get to the top of the ladder while Snake Eater plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds hype.
That's this one.
It sounds like Kojima, certainly.
Yeah, it sounds like Kojima, which can't get me enough Kojima. Death Stranding 2, by the way, supposed to happen this year. Didn't see it yet, which is a little concerning, but
that's suspicious.
Okay, moving on.
It's going to be in Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. It's going to be a side mode.
You say that, but that is very much a Kojima
No, I know.
thing to do.
That's why I said it.
Yeah. So the next trailer we saw, Hell Is Us. I saw this. Yeah, I remember commenting on this and being like, "This looks
still
really
Left 4 Dead.
Interesting." No. This was it was this weird sci-fi game with it was an off-kilter art style. I remember commenting on it. I was like, "This looks just strange in a good way. It was like
Okay.
it had a very unique art style, but we didn't get to see much. Like this was just a trailer. Like
Yeah.
I don't think we saw any gameplay
Like a
at all.
cinematic trailer, yeah.
Yeah, but like the ideas in this trailer and like the visuals were just they were interesting to me. I thought this looked neat. So no idea what even kind of game this is yet, but like at least the concept shown. Excited to see more. See what this is all about.
Next up was a Lies of P DLC called Overture. That might be time for us to finally play some Lies of P.
Yeah, Lies of P. I'm just the first thing I thought when this was shown was like, thank God I haven't played Lies of P yet, because I'm just gonna play Lies of P and have like the main game and this presumably giant expansion. And
It looked like a
really
full
enjoy
second
it.
game. Yeah, it looked like
Yeah.
I mean, not Shadow of the Erd Tree sized because Lies of P wasn't as big as Elden Ring, but like
Bloodborne: The Old Hunter's size, which is sizable.
okay. I
So
haven't
like
played it.
you know, basically a Souls expansion, you know.
Yeah.
So which are meaty.
Yeah.
So and Liza, shout out to Lies of P because it like really seems like they were the first ones to show that it's not from what some From Software has isn't like black magic. Other people can do it.
Yeah.
Because there have been Souls-likes in the past, but Lies of P was just it literally was a From Software.
It was
game.
really fun. I've played a
Yeah.
taste of it. I played through the first boss and I really liked it and then just didn't keep playing. I have no
got
real
busy or
reason.
something.
Yeah, got busy. Other games came out.
But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to playing Lies of P someday, especially because the From Software game it reminds me the most of is Bloodborne.
Yeah.
So it really just seems like a love letter to Bloodborne. And from I've watched a lot of gameplay of Lies of P. It seems very good. It seems very difficult. It seems like some of the mechanics in Lies of P are way more even harder than the Soulsborne games. So
I
yeah,
gotta
I'm
point
excited
out,
to finally check it out.
parrying feels a lot easier at 120 frames per second than 60. Like a lot easier. It might just be that Lies of P is easier, but it feels easier because of the frame rate too. Everything's so smooth.
Okay.
Lies of P is a more technically sound game than anything From Software has ever put out, is what I'm saying. It's
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see
the
that
tech in it
easily.
is way better.
All right, moving on.
I want to read
to-
this one because it's really weird. So we got this is Tech Radar is where we got this, right? This list.
Yeah.
None of the other games have had any opinion or anything next to them, but this one says Dream of Another was announced for PS5 and it looks pretty weird. Additionally, it supports PSVR 2. I just thought that was a really weird way to write it.
Yeah, that's just a really weird way.
I don't remember this at all. Dream of Another.
This was that really kind of weird.
Oh, this does look good.
Japanese
Yeah,
game.
it's,
Yeah, it's where you it has like this weird particle-based art style where you can like shoot things to create rather
Yeah,
than
instead of
destroy or
destroying-
something very
your gun creates things.
Artsy
It's
fartsy.
very artsy. Yeah.
yeah.
This feels kind of up my alley, but we'll have to.
I mean, I got to give it points for being unique. Like
Yeah,
it
exactly.
certainly doesn't really look like anything I've seen before, so
I gotta
yeah,
wait to see.
Yeah. Tentatively interested in this one though.
Yeah.
It certainly made an impression. Next up we have Days Gone Remastered. So
What
this
in
is
the world?
very I just don't understand, right? Like cuz Sony kills Days Gone, right? Sony Bend makes Days Gone. It sells reasonably well. Didn't review very great. They had plans for a sequel. Sony denied that, shut it down, put them on something else. They were doing that live service thing that just got canceled. So now they're, doing God
Yeah.
knows what. Maybe this. But they remastered Days Gone. They're working on like a Days Gone movie or TV show. So I'm just like, what do you want to do with this franchise, Sony? Because like if you kill the games for it, like it's not an IP you should be bringing into the limelight like this. But like they keep going back to it, which is very baffling.
I don't want to
And-
slander this game, but is this the game where the guy is getting married and the bride says, "I hope you ride me as much as your motorcycle"? Is that Days Gone?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, why would anyone buy this game? That's the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life. No one, like, every penny spent on this franchise is wasted.
I mean, it sold decently well. It sold a few million copies. It didn't review that well,
I
but
wonder why.
I mean, I tried to get into this game and I gave it a fair shot. I just couldn't really get into it, but it won't go away. And it's weird to me that they're remastering this because you can play Days Gone at 60 FPS 4K on PS5 right now.
I'm pretty
Like,
sure they're giving the remaster upgrade to PC as a free update too.
Okay, is it? Yes. Yes, there's an update coming to because it's already out on PC as well,
Yeah.
the game, but the update's also coming to PC. It's strange. There is a new mode, like a horde mode being included with this, which is something, I guess. Something new, but like
Yeah.
it's just such weird mixed messaging with this game where like if Sony's not going to greenlight a sequel or a continuation of this franchise, why do they keep showing it to people? Like let them do new things.
Yeah.
So yeah, very strange, especially considering the fact that it's out everywhere. Like you can play it on PS5 at 4K 60, you can play it on PC at 4K whatever frame rate you want. So I don't understand why this is being done at all.
No.
Like for all their previous remasters, there was a reason at least for every single remaster they've done.
Not every remaster. Like
Yeah. Every
some
single
of those
one had a
Last
reason.
of Us ones were crazy, dude.
No, there was a reason. Like you can bump it up from 30 frames per second to 60, right? Like there's at least a reason.
Like there is a okay.
Yeah, but like there's literally no reason for this
Okay.
one because like on all the modern hardware, it already looks and runs really good. So very strange. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Next, they announce some Gooner DLC for Stellar Blade.
Didn't you
So-
like Stellar Blade? I forget.
Stellar Blade was really good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it, but like I don't know, like
They also announced its PC release date, I think, which isn't on our list here, and I don't remember what it was. But I remembered seeing it and thinking, oh, I should ask Amit if I'm gonna buy this.
yeah, Stellar Blade is a good game. It's a very horny game, but it's a good game nonetheless.
I'm not above it.
All right. Next we got Abiotic Factor and Blueprints revealed for
man.
PS5.
If this
So
has crossplay,
I'm stoked for Abiotic Factor.
Abiotic
That
Factor
is,
is so good.
I assume this is like a proper release date for Abiotic Factor too.
Yes,
This
the
isn't early
1.0
access.
is coming out very soon.
Yeah, so like we should play this for sure.
Yeah, that'd be a great kind of game to play.
I've been trying to
together.
gather a bunch of people because I've played most of it, most
Yeah.
of what's available.
Is it four at one time? Is that the cap? Like 4 people in one game?
Up to 16, I think.
Oh my god,
16. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
16's a crowd.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm stoked for this. Do you guys know what Blueprints is? I was mostly just
I don't
paying
remember.
attention to Abiotic Factor.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Blueprints. We should at least say what it was.
Yeah.
Blueprints. It's on Steam apparently. It's not. Oh, I remember seeing this. It's like the kind of cell shaded puzzle game. You're walking through this mansion, and it's a play on the word blueprint.
Okay.
So it's Blueprints. I don't know about this. This is a free demo. I guess PC Gamer is calling it their game of the year for 2024.
Oh, okay.
And Daniel
Maybe
Mullins, the
we
creator of
should pay more
Inscription,
attention.
says it's the best thing he played last year. Okay, I'm gonna have to check this out if Daniel Mullins is giving it that high of a praise. It's got a free demo. I'm on board. Maybe I'll talk about it next week on games I've been playing.
Yeah.
All right. Almost through this list here. Next game they showed was Tides of Annihilation. This is another game where, like, similar to the Final Fantasy-esque one we saw, I'm like, this one will live and die by how it plays. Like, it certainly looked cool, but is playing it actually good? Does it have Devil May Cry-esque combos? It certainly looked like it, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
You guys remember seeing this?
Yeah, I do. All these like kind of Souls-like ish games. I wait for reviews. There's just so many of them these days.
I'm in the same camp. Like I don't know. Visually, it looked interesting, but I don't know. I've been burned before, so I'm definitely waiting to see more on this one. But this is one I could see being interested in if it turns out to be competent.
If the game is good, I'll buy it. Am I right, fellas?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Metal Eden
I don't remember this
was
one
shown.
either.
So this is the one that was it was a shooter, and everyone thought it was Marathon when it was being showed. And
Oh,
like it looked like a very high, like a fast-paced shooter, but it wasn't Marathon. It was a game that looks exactly like Marathon.
yeah.
um,
Oh, yeah, it had the grappling hook and everything.
yeah,
I like the art style.
the
I think it's
movement
really
looked
pretty.
really cool
Yeah.
in this game, and I always love a sci-fi shooter. I'm a big fan of.
It looks
that,
very Doom 2016, and I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know. This is another wait and see one.
Yeah.
Like, not gameplay, aesthetically, it looks Doom 2016.
All right. Next, we had MindsEye. This was like they showed this for a very long time. It reminded me of Grand Theft Auto, and looking it up later, it turns out a previous GTA dev actually helmed this game.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, this trailer was terrible. It looks insanely boring. It was
Yeah,
just a bunch of clips of them driving, like...
I don't know what the deal is with this game. It has people are saying this game is going to be competition for GTA 6, and I'm like,
no, it's not.
okay,
There's no such
sure.
thing. GTA 6 is not going to be a good game, and it's going to be the best-selling game of all time. Like, there's
it's
no
probably
such
gonna
thing
be
as competition for
It's
GTA
probably
6.
going to be a good game. You probably just won't like it. I probably won't like it either.
I
to
like
be
all the
fair.
good games, Hamid.
But yeah, MindsEye. It seems like it's sci-fi kind of GTA game. There you
This
go.
looks
If you're into that.
I don't know. It doesn't bring anything new to the table. It doesn't seem. It seems like a best hits of the past decade of mediocre open world games.
Yeah, it didn't really grab me either, but I don't know.
Like they seem really proud that when you shoot the gas station, it explodes, and it's like, yeah, man, we've been at this a while. Like,
yeah. If it has a compelling story, because cyberpunk narratives kind of interest me, just at a base level. So if you're adopting like a cyberpunk futuristic sci-fi story, I'm gonna pay a little bit of attention. But I think a game like this lives and dies on the strength of its story.
there's like 4 different shots in this trailer of him shooting a car until it explodes, and that's boring when you do it yourself in a video game. It's not fun to watch in a trailer. It's really crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about this one. But this last game, this is what it's all about. So Saros,
yes, this is what it's
a new
all about.
first-party game by Housemarque. When we did our PlayStation analysis episode, I said that it's Housemarque's time to go.
Yeah,
like it's the time fits, especially because Housemarque doesn't make these humongous games that take 6-7 years to make. So Returnal came out in 2021. Saros is going to come out, I think, in 2026. So that's a 5-year gap between Returnal and Saros. And they very much were open about the fact that it is a spiritual successor to Returnal. It's the same sort of concept. You're this guy, played by Rahul Kohli, on this hostile alien planet where you die, live, and it is a roguelike game with kind of horror sci-fi elements. So that formula worked incredibly well in Returnal, and couple that with Housemarque's killer gameplay, which is only going to be improved for this one. I'm very excited to see what this game ends up being.
it looks extremely, extremely good. If it comes to PC day and date, it'll be a day one buy for me for sure.
The only gripe I have is that it was just a CGI trailer. They didn't. It might not have been CGI. It might have been in-engine, but point is they didn't show any gameplay, which sucks because Returnal's gameplay was, that sold the game. So I'm excited to see Saros gameplay. They said they would show gameplay later this year. It's weird to me that if this game is coming out next year, surely you'd have gameplay to show by now, right? But I don't know. There could be any number of reasons why they didn't want to show gameplay yet, but yeah, I'm stoked for this. High quality, first party, Housemarque game.
It was an excellent closer. It was an excellent one more thing kind of game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was it was pretty quick into the trailer where I think both you and I, Connor.
Yeah, I said Returnal too, and you said Housemarque.
This seems like a Housemarque game.
Yeah.
And it was giving off Returnal vibes, which is
great.
If they can nail that within a few seconds of a trailer, without it even being related to Returnal at all in terms of like setting. I think they what I'm saying is that they nail that tone so well.
A second
They
pass
are
at,
masters
like,
of that tone.
because I love Returnal, but narratively, I do think a second crack at it could be better.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think Returnal was great. I also think it had some rough edges because it was like the first time Housemarque had made a game like this. And I'm excited to see how Saros takes it forward. Saros, I have no idea how that's pronounced.
Yeah, we'll
You
find
probably
out.
said it a few times in the trailer, but forget. But yeah, that was the state of play. I thought there was a lot of interesting stuff here, especially compared to like the recent state of plays where I feel like it's mostly just garbage, except with the exception of one or two good things to show. Like I think most of the show was good, with only a couple kind of low points that I wasn't interested in, like Five Nights at Freddy's and WWE. But a lot of good stuff to show. So
Having a Monster Hunter trailer is like a cheat code to open on. That's going to be hype, like even for
yeah, I mean, like
non-Monster
Sony and Monster Hunter have always been kind of tied together, and I mean, like them giving the first game shown to Monster Hunter, I think speaks volumes of like how highly they value Capcom. So
Yeah,
and
I agree.
specifically Monster Hunter.
I mean,
Yeah, I
Monster
thought it
Hunter
was-
is like the Call of Duty of Japan. Like it's the biggest like
It is, yeah.
non-Nintendo franchise, and it's not particularly close.
I agree, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for Monster Hunter. I'm excited for a lot of games on this state of play. Excited for Saros.
Me too. Saros is
And notably, a lot of the games they showed were 2025 games. So I love to see that as well. I hate seeing games that are too far out. They did show a few 2026 games like Saros. I'll allow it.
yeah.
2026, closer than we might think. So imminent great games coming. And I guess just to wrap it up, yeah, I get that it's kind of cool right now to hate on Sony, but like, I really think that if you look at this show and think that there's nothing there at all that interests you, then like, you might just not be interested in PlayStation style games at all.
A lot of this was third party.
Yeah,
But-
a lot of this was third
yeah.
party, but like they showed their stuff here at Sony's
But there's games to
conference.
play on your PlayStation. Yeah.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot coming to your PlayStation. Now, if
There's
you're
a-
only in it for the first party, then obviously there are reasons to be mad, but you shouldn't only be in it for the first party. There's a lot of good stuff.
I mean,
elsewhere.
even Monster Hunter, I think there's an okay chance, as much as I hate to admit it, that unless you're on like a very good computer, a PlayStation is going to be the best place to play Monster
Yeah.
Hunter.
I think, there's a decent chance of that. Yeah.
It is not guaranteed. I know I had my talk about performance last week, but I have a very nice computer, so Monster Hunter is going to be better on computer for me. But I think for a lot of people, the PlayStation is going to be the way to go on that one.
All right. We have any final thoughts about the state of play?
It was a good showing, and it showed even like taking a step back. I think PlayStation, for me at least, PlayStation is the one I look forward to the least typically, not because their showing is bad, but I think their ability to put together a presentation in the past has been unremarkable to me. And this was a step up for them. This was excellently paced. They never made me listen to a developer talk about stuff I don't care about for a really long time, which Xbox has a tendency to do.
Yeah, I agree. The pacing was very good in this, and there were no like long stretches of boredom.
They showed
which,
a WWE
which
game.
usually happen in these shows. Yeah.
Yeah, they showed they showed enough boring games for me to go pee, and that was about it. So, good show, good showing.
All right. Well, you want to get into what we're playing?
I don't know if I played any games this weekend. I was too busy fixing up my home.
Fixing up your beautiful home. So I have two games. Mike, do you have any?
I have nothing. It's been
Nothing.
a little busy.
Wow.
You're really gonna make
No,
the sick
I'll come
guy
up with
talk the
something.
whole
You
time.
do
I
yours.
have
I'll find
not-
something to talk about.
Not
I don't know if
the
you-
vintage story.
I don't know if you guys can tell right now, but my throat is killing me. I'm dying.
Yeah.
But gonna push through for you guys. So I've been playing obviously Civilization 7. I've put in another 10 hours since last week, which is kind of low, right? Like if I put in 35 hours in the first 5 days or whatever, and then 10 hours in a week. But I'll get into why that number is lower later. But I finished a game with a culture victory, which was a lot of fun. I still think that this is a really good game with a very strong foundation. there are so many opinions about Civilization 7 online, ranging from the core mechanics in this game are broken and it needs a complete redo to it's a very good game, the UI is just bad. That's the camp I land in. But it's clear to me now that just absorbing the discourse for a week or so that this is really a divisive game.
Really?
So it's I'm curious to see what direction Firaxis takes it in. If they stick to their vision or if they kind of like make core changes. I don't know. Yeah, I think it could go either way.
Because that didn't really show in our comments so much.
Yeah, I think
I watched
especially
the comments on that one because I was curious.
The TikTok for that one hit like 20K plus views, and there was good discussion happening actually in the comments.
Yeah,
and I think largely it was positive.
Yeah,
but like I think at least just perusing online forums and Reddit threads and stuff, everyone seems to have an opinion about this game that's different, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But and Firaxis has already had 3 patches since launch.
Doing
minor
I got
fixes,
a little controversy for this one.
Yeah, so like they expedited these patches, but the downside was that the patches resulted in crossplay no longer being a thing because they prioritized PC and they were going to push out the patches for the other consoles later.
I would be really mad if I had bought this game thinking I was going to be able to play with my friends and they updated it so that I couldn't play with my friends anymore. Like that, I hate that. And I know like, but there's just no argument for it because Steam has like built, you could select, they could have uploaded a beta build that still had, I mean, it wouldn't literally be a beta build, but Steam has a system where you can have separate builds of the game so that one could have crossplay enabled and one could not. And they didn't do that. And that just comes off as lazy to me. And I hate to say lazy devs, but when I say it in this instance, it's literally just having a second build of the game available. It's like a checkbox. Like I've done this. I don't know why they didn't bother. And it kind of makes me mad.
I think they wanted to require the update.
Yeah, that's worse. Everyone. Like that's worse.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it seems like, I mean, I was kind of impressed with the speed of these patches because, like, they're not small, like, obviously they're patches, but, like, if you look at the list of things, I mean, they're pretty extensive. So, obviously, they're working very hard over there. And my take on it is that they said, we'll just eat the bad looks for now because we want to prioritize our core audience on PC. That's my opinion about what's happening. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's how it read to me.
I agree that that's how it reads, but they also did it for no reason. Like, there was a very clear solution. They could have had it default to getting the update, and the people that cared about crossplay could have done something to get crossplay back, and they just did not make that an option. And why? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. Like they might have metrics that are showing that like
it could be no one's
playing crossplay. But
it's still it's a feature they sold that they said they offered when they sold the game, and they intentionally broke that feature. I don't like that. That rubs me super wrong.
Well, I don't know. It's definitely wrong. I didn't really pay too much attention to that though. Like I was more concerned with like what they were actually patching. So they fixed a lot of bugs. They said the UI changes are coming. Obviously, those have to be a lot more involved because, like I said last week, in a game like Civ, the UI is deeply integrated into the game itself, like the systems, how you play the game. So any major UI reworking is going to take significant effort. So they did promise that that's on the way as well, though. So they've been very communicative about like the feedback they've been getting and what they're doing. So Firaxis is a good developer in that sense that they always listen to community feedback. They might not implement everything people are saying, but they're going to listen to everyone and pick a best course forward for this game. So I think the game is in good hands. All that to say, I think the game is in good hands. But even in the state it is right now, I'm having a blast with this game. I've not really had any bugs. I've had obviously like the UI continues to be kind of annoying, but like even that I've gotten used to, right? Like if you play a game for like 40 hours, eventually like you get used to it.
Yeah.
So like using this UI for 40 plus hours, I no longer really even have an issue with it. I've just sort of gotten accustomed to it. Obviously changes would be appreciated, but like even if they don't update it at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm totally fine with it now. So, yeah, continuing to enjoy Civ 7. Gonna start a game here soon to try and do a domination/expansionist victory. Those are always fun, and I've not done any military victory yet, which is kind of surprising because that's probably the most popular way to play this
Yeah.
game.
It's the most
But-
obvious.
Yeah, and I'm excited to do that because I do still firmly believe that the combat in this game is better than 6 and 5, like
Mhm.
flat out. So I really enjoy the combat in Civ 7. So looking forward to my military playthrough there. So that's kind of where I'm at with Civ 7. All right, either of you have anything else before I
came up
keep
with
going?
one. I had a friend ask me to install Dead by Daylight, which I haven't played since 2018, probably. So like 7 years, something like that. And
There
I
was
used
a
to.
period of time where that game was super popular.
It
I
was,
remember a lot of
yeah.
people
And
playing
I
that.
played it during that time. I was playing it with an ex that I lived with at the time, and she was afraid to play as the survivor, so she made me play as the killer. This was like all her idea. I had no like real interest in this game, but she wanted me to play it with her, and she wanted me to play as the killer. And we did that, and I kind of got the loop as the killer. I thought it was kind of fun. But I had a friend just ask me to install it, and there's like a lot of variety in the killers and stuff too. I should talk about that a little more. They have like different abilities, and it like the killer really sets the pace of the game because the survivors don't have a ton of abilities. So like a lot of what's going on is based on which killer the killer chooses. And a lot of them are cool. There's like the Demogorgon. There's like a weird ghost knight we fought. There's a guy with like a hook shot that catches you and pulls you in. I hated that guy. But when I played as a survivor this time because I was actually playing with some old childhood friends of mine. And I didn't have a bad time. It was like fine. It was a fine way to hang out and talk to your friends. But then my friend told me he has 500 hours in this game. And there's not 5 hours of enjoyment to get out of this game as a survivor. He said he never played as a killer. Like he'd done all of that as a survivor. And
That's crazy. That's just on a surface level. That's wild to me that you play a game for 500 hours and don't explore the other half of it.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I don't
don't
know. I don't know
engage
if he said he never played
with
as the
the
killer,
game.
but he said he never plays as the killer. Maybe he has tried it, but he didn't like it. He liked the survivor. I don't remember. This is me. I don't want to misquote him. But the game loop when you are a survivor is you run away from the killer and you do these weird QTE things to activate generators. And it's like it's just not very fun. Like it's fine. It's a fine way to play, I get. Like I could see doing it for a few hours and having fun, but what could you possibly get out of this for that foul? And he's not alone in this. I'm not dunking on my friend. There are many people who have played 1,000 hours of this game, and I don't get it at all. Like, there's no complexity to it. Like I'm sure there's strategy, but it's like
Is there maybe it's just novelty in the fact that it's like asymmetric
yeah,
multiplayer?
because it's like a game of tag. Like your only actions are like run away and fix generator. Like there's just not. I don't know. It just didn't feel very deep to me. There just wasn't that much going on. I don't get it at all. I uninstalled it. Like I will not be playing it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember I never actually played Dead by Daylight, but I remember there was a time where I logged on to PlayStation and like everyone was just on this game nonstop, and I was just like, I don't really see the appeal.
I mean, playing as the killer is fun. Playing as the killer is fun for a few reasons. It's one, not least of which is you don't need any friends. You can do it by yourself. There's only one killer, and also a win as the killer. I don't think is actually that hard to achieve, but when I got a win, I was like pogging out of my mind as the killer because I had beaten 4 people, regardless of how many advantages I had. That was there were 4 people that could have been better than me, and they weren't. I won, so I did not. I don't think I survived. We never had all 4 survivors get away when we were playing. Every game, at least someone died, and it was usually me because I'm bad at the game. Like I just picked it up, and the Elo was weird because he's played it for 500 hours, and I've played it for 3. So
Well, that was a bit of a blast from the past. I
Yeah.
haven't thought about that game in a while.
Yeah, I like the asymmetrical multiplayer games. I hope more of that stuff happens. Do you remember that Dragon Ball Z asymmetrical?
Yeah, where like your cell
Yeah,
trying
it
to
was-
absorb people, and the other people are just like human beings running and hiding.
With
What a
rocket
goofy
launchers?
idea for
Yeah.
a game.
I never
Yeah.
played it, but I thought it looked funny. It didn't last very long.
Dragon Ball The Breakers.
Yeah, it didn't last. It's gone now.
Yeah,
Rest
I
in
love
peace.
goofy stuff like that though.
Yeah.
Asymmetric multiplayer is something that should be explored more.
I agree.
think.
Dead by Daylight's the only one that really like stuck
Took off
around.
Going,
yeah.
You had Evolve.
I remember
but
I remember
that
Evolve back
got
in the day.
killed.
Like I thought that was such a cool idea, but it just fell off.
They
And
just
now
have a
it's
tendency
really-
to be super lopsided.
The
Dead by
worst
Daylight's
part
the only
about
one that's not.
Evolve's like monetization is now that's a commonplace thing, but back in the day it was a bad thing.
Interesting. I didn't think of that.
Yeah, now like the idea of these microtransactions and everything and selling individual characters for money and a season pass and having multiple season passes,
Yeah.
that was controversial back then, and now it's just normal.
Now it's
They
what
just
you do.
don't call it
Yeah.
a season pass anymore. They call it a battle pass, and all of a sudden people are just like, yeah, I'll buy another season pass.
Yeah. No, I mean I've talked about it before. I'm actually kind of a proponent of the season
Like,
pass as long as it's not FOMO.
wild.
All right, my last game. Do you have anything else, Mike?
No, I don't
Were you
have
gonna say
No,
something?
sorry.
So my last game is Palworld.
Oh,
I
God.
saw you were playing
Guys,
this. Yeah.
Guys,
Do you have the
I-
DLC? Or was it just a
I think
free
it's just
update?
part of the game.
Okay,
The
it's just
DLC
part
is
of the game.
you don't like buy it; they just expand it. This game is a problem for me. For a guy like me, this game is a problem.
Yeah.
This is the closest I felt to what like taking hard drugs must be like.
Oh my god.
Where I just like it is actively ruining my life playing this game. Like I'm getting much less sleep. I'm constantly thinking about this game. I'm addicted to Palworld, and it's and the only reason I started playing it again is because I have some friends who started up a server and they were like, "We actually want to play Palworld now." I was like, "Okay, I'll jump in."
That's how
Big
that's how they
mistake.
get you. Yeah.
Big mistake. Because now this is all I'm freaking playing. It's I don't know
One
what it
can't
is
hurt.
about Palworld, man. It's got to be like it's the base management combined with the Pokemon stuff that just creates this extremely addicting formula for me, where it's just like
Yeah.
even the base management. Because like now that I've played something like Satisfactory, like I totally get obviously the factory management, the factory building in Satisfactory, millions of times better than Palworld. You can't even fully automate everything in Palworld, which sucks. But seeing your pals run around the base doing work mitigates all of that for me.
It's
Like
just
I don't
so
care.
cute. Yeah.
I don't care if I have to like run around and do some stuff myself. Like I see my little like lamb ball rolling around working on like at his workbench and like, dude, it's just it's so.
How well do you treat them?
I treat them very well.
Okay.
My
You're not a
friend
slave driver.
instantly my friend is like going full slave owner. He's going like he's putting the work conditions on like ultra hard and like he's making them miserable. But like I'm a chill dude. I'm not
He's the
gonna do that.
Gary Oak to your Ash Ketchum.
Yeah. But it's just so much dopamine. This game is constantly blasting you with dopamine, and I honestly feel like pretty unhealthy playing it. Like I'm sick right now. I don't think it's related to Palworld, but I have been getting like 5 to 6 hours of sleep a night just because I'm sacrificing sleep playing Palworld.
That's
Which-
not going to help you heal.
Yeah, it's not gonna help me heal.
That's
but like
crazy.
it's crazy that this game just has me in its claws like that.
Yeah. It's
This game out
barely
of all the
legally
games,
distinct claws.
yeah,
Have you seen
Yeah,
the
I
smoke
mean-
around that recently?
yeah, like 19 out of the 20
Yeah.
legal
Nintendo is like
complaints-
going patent crazy trying to come up with a way to tackle
To get rid of
in the
Palworld,
US.
yeah. So I don't know, like there is a world where Palworld just stops existing one day.
Yeah.
So
What are you
And-
playing
and
it on? Are you on
Nintendo will never be
PC or
forgive.
Xbox?
I'm on PlayStation.
Okay.
I had to buy it again on PlayStation.
Yeah, I was
which
going to
annoyed
say.
me quite a
'cause
bit.
It wasn't on PlayStation at launch.
Yeah, but yeah, like it works just fine on controller.
Is it full crossplay?
I don't think it is. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. I
Oh,
would've
yeah,
just played it
right.
on PC. But yeah, especially like having 2 to 3 other people in a game with you, it just adds a lot. Because like the game can be played perfectly fine by yourself, but like while you're on, like we have like these kind of trade deals where like my base manufactures a lot of quartz and my friend's base manufactures a lot of coal, and I don't have coal, he doesn't have quartz, so we set up like trade agreements where we
Is that like a
trade
mechanic or is
resources.
it just
No,
you doing
it's
it?
just like we
Yeah.
just show
Natural.
up at each other's
Yeah.
bases and just drop 1,000 coal
That's
or
funny.
1,000 cores. It's so janky. And because of the weight limit, right? So we each like teleport to a common location.
Mm-hmm.
And we're weighed down because we're carrying like 1,000 tons of resources.
Yeah.
So we drop it, pick up each other's resources, and then inch back to the teleporter so we can like leave and go back to our bases. It's just so goofy. It's just like, and there's tons of like small goofy stuff like that in this game.
That's
just
so funny.
Make it a lot of fun to play.
I'm surprised
And
it
plus-
doesn't have like a pack mule mechanic where you can load down one of your pals.
I mean, it might later on. Like,
Okay.
it's, you level more and you uncover better technology, more mechanics.
Yeah.
And
Do you have
plus,
guns
this
yet?
game, yeah, oh yeah, I've got an assault rifle, which is also just really goofy, right?
So
Like
stupid.
you're just wading into this field full of like Pokemon and ostensibly just mowing them down with your assault rifle. Like, it's just such a weird confluence of things where it's like Fortnite gameplay with like gunplay
Yeah.
with Pokemon. It's just that bizarreness is why I think Palworld really works so well, because it's like these two worlds crashing together that normally wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's also a lot of fun. Like we go on adventures together. Like me and my friends are like, all right, let's meet here and explore this part of the map, because the map is freaking huge.
It's huge. Yeah.
And we have not seen
I mean,
the
I
whole
saw a
map yet.
fraction of it in my like 10
Yeah.
hours. Yeah.
So like we're still like discovering the map. Like obviously a lot of it is empty, but there's cool stuff to find as well. And the game is still in early access, which is, I hate that term so much because this game has been out for like a year plus now.
Yeah.
But it is still in early access, so they're still planning to add more things to it before it launches. What those things are, I'm not sure, but we are just having so much fun with this game. Like, it got to the point where my friend, because it's being hosted on my friend's PS5, he was just like, guys, I'm gonna leave the PS5 on so we can accrue resources overnight. And we got back on in the morning to find that all of our pals at our base were hungry, starving, depressed, and had major injuries.
Oh,
So
no.
something happened overnight. We were probably raided or something, and like
Yeah.
our food supplies weren't set up straight. So we had to spend the next couple hours like just making sure everything was set back to normal, manufacturing medicine to treat their depression and like
Oh.
all this kind of
SSRIs.
stuff. Yeah, so like we did all that, but it's just like, it's just so goofy,
That's
right?
so
Like
weird.
it's so weird, and that just makes it funnier and more fun to play. And like even like, you remember like when you try to catch a pal and it escapes, it's like the game gives you like a little message like, oh,
Yeah.
he escaped, the cheeky bastard, and
Yeah.
it's just like, well, what?
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Which is such a funny bit of text for a Japanese game.
Yeah, it's just so goofy and so addicting, man. I can't stress enough that like Palworld is one of the most addicting games I have ever played. It's on the level of something like an addicting MMO to me. And it is negatively impacting my life. So there's that. But it sure is
Much
fun.
like other MMOs have. Yeah.
Yeah, it sure is fun. And yeah, like I've been playing so much Palworld. I played way more Palworld than Civ this week.
That's crazy.
Which is not what I
insane.
wanted to do, right?
I
Like,
would have
but
never
like my
in a
friend,
million years predicted that.
my friends were like, "This is a," because like they never do this kind of stuff. But they were like, "We've actually set up a multiplayer server and we're actually playing Palworld." And at first, I didn't even believe them. I was like, "All right, I'll humor them
Yeah.
for like an hour or two." But like, no, they were all in.
We're in.
So
Yeah.
like it had. I'm like way further now than I am in the PC version of the game. Like way further.
Mhm.
I'm actually, I think I'm like a level 45 and the level cap is 60. So I've like, 3/4 of the way through the game ostensibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Very cool.
Too much fun, some might
Too
say.
much. Addicting.
It's
you
like
know?
I just feel like I'm pumping myself full of like McDonald's each night. Like the gaming equivalent of McDonald's. Where I play this game and it feels great while I'm playing it, but afterwards I feel like absolute crap. I don't know. It's not good for you.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my Palworld spiel. Think that's it. Do we have anything else we want to talk about?
I think that does it for us this week.
Yeah, I got nothing.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Next episode will be episode 200 of this show, which is kind of hard to believe, but we'll have something planned. What is it? You'll have to wait and see, because I think we're still hashing that out. But thank you all for listening. You can follow us at Podcast Game Talk on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and Blue Sky. Please click the link in the description to join our Discord and talk to us there. And please like, rate, and review us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, or any other podcast services you use. Thank you, Connor and Mike.
Yeah, see you guys next week.
See you guys next week as well.
See you for episode 200. Bye.